What's up guys, Economic Cloud, back in the video. Today, decided, let's talk about settings. Now, there's a lot of, controversy over, certain settings, what's good, what's not. A lot of people have been posting videos about, what's the best settings, how to find your best settings, and honestly, a lot of the people are just looking for views. To be honest, in Apex, there's a lot of things that make finding your own personal settings really easy and good. Alright. So, let me talk about, good settings. Good settings. So, let's say you see a pro with high sensitivity, just fucking flicking everywhere and hitting all this. It's not like that's their original sensitivity. It's not like that's where they always started from. That's not they didn't practice. Well, they did practice that. Let me rephrase. They didn't just start flicking and hitting their shots. They had to get used to it. Whenever you're practicing with new settings, you have to get used to it. So there's different opinions on whether high sense is better or slow sensitivity. And I'll tell you right now, at least on controller, it is everything is preference actually. No, yeah. Whether you're on mouse and keyboard on a PC or controller, every bit of setting is all preference. There is no specific good setting. I mean, well, there's some settings where they're just why would you do that when you could just do this, you know? But aim wise, aiming and hitting your shots, it's all preference. There is no really good setting. There's no bad settings. It's all just what you're most comfortable with. And if you want to get more comfortable with something else, then you have to take the time to practice it. You can't just switch your settings and automatically be good. I've switched my settings at least 6 times my entire time playing Apex, and every single time I switched them, I was not immediately good. I might have thought they were better than my other ones because I started hitting more shots, but in the end, my muscle memory was remembering my old settings, not my new ones. So right now, alright, look, here, I used to play, right now I play on ALC settings, advanced look controls, they're down here. Let's turn these off. This is what I used to play on. 7.3. See, they're pretty good. They're fine. But the thing about 7.3 is that it's high sensitivity on the look sensitivity and low on the ADS. I have this because on mouse and keyboard you can literally just aim down sights and flick super hard and you'll turn fast no matter what. That is all preference. That's a whole different mechanic that I'm not going to get into. But on controller at least, I like to have my look sensitivity high and my ADS low. And here's why. I don't think on unless this is your preference, unless this is something you're good with, I don't think there's a reason to have your ADS super high. I like this slow. This should be slow on controller. And your looking should be very fast. And here's why. If you want to have fast reaction time, and be able to react, yeah, just react faster to things. Like if you're getting shot in the back, for example. Like let's say I'm getting shot in the back right now from this dummy, and I'm shooting a guy right here, and now I need to turn back fast and look at him. Now if I was on like something like, a lot of people go like 3-3 or 4-4 or something like that. If I went like all like this, no, I'm gonna get lasered. I'm definitely gonna get lasered. And like, not saying that 3-3 is bad, but like you better have like very good movement if you're gonna play like this. Let's try 4. I've seen people go 4. Yeah, it's just 4. So you better be like, if you play like on super slow look sensitivity, you're gonna be like hipfire crazy. Like hipfire is gonna be crazy for you. But other than aiming, your movements is going to be super slow. Like you are going to be much easier to hit when you're turning around a corner. So like, let's say I'm getting shot. This guy right here, right? I'm getting shot by him. If I'm trying to run away and I turn around this corner with this low sensitivity, like that, right? But compared to if I'm on a high, then I just go like that. And like it's very minuscule, the difference when I try to explain it. But trust me, like just moving that much faster can give you so much more of an advantage. Now let's put my ALCs back on. This is just normal settings for people that just start the game, by the way. Advanced look controls. If you're a new player, I personally recommend you turn these on immediately. Go like, you know, hop into the game, play some matches, whatever. And if you want to have really good settings, put advanced look controls on. Not saying that these are bad, but these are gonna make you more comfortable. Because look, turn this on, and you have so much more stuff to deal with. And it's honestly not that complicated. It looks like these words, yaw and pitch, it sounds complicated, but trust me, it's not. It really is not that complicated. Check it out. Like, 7.3 is basically a more inaccurate version of what I have here. This is basically the perfect settings for me. There is no best settings. It's all up to preference. And look how I have it. Sorry, look. Let me explain. Dead zone, basically how sensitive your stick is going to be. This is basically all kind of the same. In that, it's all kind of like that. These matter minusculely. Everything here is pretty minuscule. So every little thing you change isn't going to impact you too much, unless you up it for like from 250 to 350 or from 500 to 100. Like that's gonna impact it. But changing a number by 1 is only gonna do something very specific. So like if you feel like your hip fire is too fast, like, or maybe it's like you shoot this guy and then you turn around and you shoot this guy and you felt a little slow, you could turn up your settings just by 1 every time until you feel like it's perfect. Until you feel like it's going too fast, then you lower it down by 1 and that's your perfect number. You keep upping numbers. I personally say just put your numbers pretty low to where you think you can aim and move, right? And then work your way up. So where if you feel like you're shooting and it's too slow, or you feel like you're just moving around too slow, up the numbers up a little bit, and then try again. If you still feel like it's too slow, up it again. Keep doing that until it feels too fast, and then go back down. That is the best way, in my opinion, to find your perfect settings. Advanced look controls is basically just making your perfect preference to whatever you are best with. And I've seen Like, there's this really good controller player named Genburton. His sense is crazy high because his fingers don't really touch the stick a lot. They don't push it a lot. So when he plays on high sense and he barely touches the stick, that's controlling recoil perfectly. And a lot of people don't do that because they're just not comfortable with it. It is built different, bro. I have nothing else to say. But just finding your perfect settings is what's most important. Not trying to copy other people's. Maybe, like, find somebody you like that does good, copy their settings, see if you like it. If you don't, do not play with them. I mean, do not play with their settings, because it's only going to hurt you. And you're wasting time trying to get better with the settings that you're not even doing good with. Find settings that you are actually doing okay with, and improve upon that. So, let me explain what these settings are. These are PropTech settings. I explained what these are. This is basically how sensitive your stick is. PropTech settings, I had these off because, honestly, like, they all feel the same to me right now, so I'm feeling pretty good. You can, like, make it, like, different speeds up to which optic. I might, you know, I might up this a little bit. I would probably, like, as the scopes go higher, I would probably up the sensitivity a bit, because if you're using a high range scope, you're gonna need the more sensitivity for tracking. Low, I'd probably keep it the same. But anyways, I keep it off just because I don't really use snipers like that. So let me explain this. Yaw speed. A lot of people don't understand what these words mean. Yaw, pitch, turning extra, yaw, pitch, and ramp up. Ramp up is your stick input for it's your delay. Your ramp up is your delay, as in, like, how long it takes for your stick to react to what it's moving. So, like, if you move your stick to the right, this is basically how much time you have before it actually inputs that. I put it at 0 because I want my input immediate. The longer you have this, like, the more you have this, it should be, like, less of an actual input time. Now, yaw speed is how, look right here. It tells you what it does. How quickly you turn left or right. Yaw is basically just doing this. That's yaw. I have yaw maxed out. And extra yaw is basically any extra speed that you want. I have that maxed out as well. Because, I'll explain. Pitch speed. Pitch speed is how quickly you look up and down. I have this decently low. Or medium, I guess. Pretty much medium. I don't like it too high because that's when my hipfire feels a little weird. Like, if you have your settings too high, guys, your hipfire is gonna feel like... Oh, let me just show you. It's gonna feel like that. I didn't recoil, I didn't control that, but you know what I mean. Look, that was me recoil controlling. I tried my best and I just went like that. That's when your settings are too high for you. And this is extra pitch if you want to go extra fast turning up and down. That is just not my preference. This is my preference. I like it perfectly slap dab in the middle. I don't have any ramp up time because I want an immediate. And this is your ADS. ADS means aim down sight speed. Okay? That's what it means. So this is regular sensitivity. This is ADS sensitivity. I like this low. A lot of controller players like it low. Do you know why? Because unless you're on MNK, there's no real benefit to having this on high. Unless it's your preference. There's no real benefit. Maybe in certain specific situations it is, but overall in the majority of situations you'll come across in Apex, it's just not going to help you, like, that much. And it's not something that would be worth getting used to. So, playing on low is good for one reason. It doesn't improve your aim assist. A lot of people say that high sensitivity worsens your aim assist. It doesn't. It does not. Like, if you play on high sense, it's not gonna remove your aim assist. It's not gonna make it so you don't have any of this. But slow is gonna make it feel more comfortable and easier. High sensitivity is just making it harder for you. And unless you're good with it, it's not worth it. So, low sensitivity is probably your best bet. Not saying Don't do this. For the love of God, hold on. Don't watch me and go like this. Don't do this. No. No. This, you're not, alright, look. You can't have it too slow like this, because this is absolutely awful. This is awful. Oh my god. Alright, because at this point you're working your stick too hard. Like, you're pushing on your stick to recoil control way too hard. And look, your tracking is going to be horrible. Alright, look, that sign is moving slow, but you get what I mean. It's a slow moving sign, but an actual player is going to be like sprinting, sliding, turning, you know, going left and right. Not going to be just moving in a straight line. So please, for the love of God, do not put this too low, because that is going to hurt you. Now, means aim down sights. So this is your speed when you're aiming down the sights. Mine is my perfect preference, where I can beam with most guns. And even with shotguns, I can do pretty good. So this is any extra speed. That's what extra means. Any more speed that you would like. But I don't see the point in using this if you don't even have this on full. It just won't make any sense. This is ADS ramp up. Again, I put it at 0. Put a lot of this at 0. That's what I do. I'm not saying that's what you guys have to do. Like, if you there's some players that come from different games where ramp up is actually what they're used to. And ramp up is basically like think of it as a havoc. Like, right before you shoot, it's getting ready to. Like, there's a little cooldown right here. See? Like, that's just what they're used to. Like, if they're you know how I started shooting before I peaked? Some people are actually used to that, so that's what ramp up would be for. Also, whenever I'm in the firing range, if you guys ever go into the firing range to practice your aim, I recommend picking up full auto weapons to practice recoil. Not this! Do not, for the love of God, pick that up. I mean something like more skill-wise, like the wingman.
Wingman here.
There's this theory on setting up goals, and it's if you want to reach your goal, aim higher. So when you aim for that higher goal, you'll get to where you want to be. So if you get really good with the wingman, you should be good at switching targets and reacting, because that's what it's really good for. It's a single shot, heavy hitting weapon. I personally go into the fire SMGs because they're not medium range. But going into the firing range and picking something like this up, this gun has so many bullets and so little recoil control that this isn't gonna help you. It's not. And then when you pick up something like this flatline, you're just not gonna hit a bullet. This, I would rather somebody pick up this in the firing range than that, because this actually has recoil. But even then, don't pick up LMGs in this firing range, please. It makes no sense to. So by practicing with SMGs, I'm getting my skill better with something that's much more easier. The R301's recoil is much, well, actually kind of similar to the R9's, but again, it's more made for, R301 is more made for range. So when I practice something with the R9, I stand even further back. Hold on, I whipped right there. And I beam. When you practice, I tend to practice with shorter range weapons and then I eventually get better in real games to the longer range one. But this doesn't mean that you go from one weapon and you're automatically good with another. That's not what it means. Because obviously, I just went from 1 clipping to an R9 to 2 clipping with an R3. Because it's muscle memory. When you swap guns, you have to be prepared to use them, like, wisely. Especially if you don't have a barrel, that is going to help a lot with the reflexing. Like, in game, a lot of pros swap weapons when they run out of ammo. And it's a lot easier for them to get used to that new recoil because of a barrel stabilizer. I go into the firing range and I don't use that because I use the raw weapon recoil. This is exactly how the weapon is made to be, except for the extended mag. I just have that just for because. So guys, that is basically all my tips for settings and how to find them. Just experiment a lot. Play with them a lot, especially if you're a new player. Because once you find settings that you absolutely love, just stick with that. Because you're only going to improve from that. And here's another thing. If you ever decide to change your settings just because, or because your settings aren't doing good, make sure you practice with it because you're not going to be good right away. Like, if you're going from a slow sense and you just want to play on a high sense because you feel like that's going to be more flashy and that's what you want to do, then go ahead. But it doesn't mean you're just going to be like beaming super hard. It means you have to get used to having little recoil control on your sticks and not using your thumbs as much. It's just something you have to get used to. And if you think that you switch settings and you don't do as good, that they're bad settings, that's not always the case. You just have to get used to them, or else you'll not get better with different settings if you don't plan on getting used to them. I recommend if you switch settings, play with them for like 2 days, you know, firing range, pubs, and then, you know, whatever you actually play. I play ranked a lot. I'm a masters. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.
Listen, let's move here.
Peace.